first flips and the Calgary Stampede is off and running. We look at the economic impact for businesses of this 10-day party.
For so many of them, this is the majority of their revenue for the year.
Plus, the continued slide for condo sales in Calgary.
And I expect it will take us a long time to sell the unit.
Not great for sellers, but buyers are finally getting a break.
There's a lot more choice on not just the resale side, but on the new home side.
And a 10-year project finally complete for at-risk youth.
It cost $26.5 million to build. It was a lot of money to raise.
Some Calgary wrestling royalty gets the party started at the Children's Cottage Society.
CTV Calgary, local breaking news with Tara Nelson.
Hello and thank you for joining us. The Calgary Stampede is now on. The grounds are open for sneak a peek night ahead of the major festivities starting tomorrow morning with the parade. Tyson Fedor is at the grounds tonight, and Tyson, thousands will be making their way down, and the economic impact of it all is really quite substantial.
It most certainly is, Tara, and just think of all the people coming through the gates here at the Stampede for Sneak a Peek today. They've been making their way through the gates since about 3 o'clock this afternoon. All those people are destined to spend some money inside the grounds, and of course they're also spending money at local pubs, restaurants, and hotels as well. Some visitors coming from out of town. But of course this is a 10-day event that for the city looks to be a lot of money coming in. The annual tradition of the first flip. Politicians of all stripes are in Calgary for the greatest outdoor show on earth.
The Stampede means that jobs are created, that businesses are supported, that hotel rooms are filled, and that patios are packed.
In 2024, a record number of visitors as nearly 1.5 million people entered the gates at the Stampede grounds. Organizers hope for similar attendance this year.
We don't budget for the prior year's weather. We factor in maybe we'll get a couple of rainy days, and we factor in about 1.3 million. Obviously, we're set up to host more than that.
Conference Board of Canada estimated in 2019 the Stampede ropes in around $282 million annually, the majority staying here in the city. The Stampede says it will have updated financial numbers later this year to see what the impact of an expanded BMO Centre has had on the flagship event.
Budget, no budget. We'll see how the spending goes.
Whatever we find, if we find it interesting, we'll go for it.
I'm cheap, so as cheap as possible, but if it's worth it, I'll do it. I'll try anything once.
For local businesses such as Red's Diner and Ramsey, being walking distance to the grounds, they are always bussing tables for the next batch of hungry Stampede goers and offering a more affordable option than the grounds.
Great to come, chill, relax, have breakfast, and then go down and kind of save you a little money.
And the Chamber of Commerce says the Stampede is the pinnacle for many.
Well, for so many of them, this is the majority of their revenue for the year. It's really important for small businesses, and it really is. It's an opportunity to grow your business, to think about new opportunities for your business in terms of expanding your market, maybe thinking of other products.
Last year, 17% of tourists to Calgary were from the U.S. Only 45,000 Americans visited the 10-day event in 2024. Despite political tensions, Tourism Calgary says Americans are still coming to Calgary.
We saw really strong visitation from the U.S. in June. We see anecdotally lots of Americans moving around our community and saying they want to come here. This has been a bucket list trip they've been thinking of, and they've heard about Calgary as a place of opportunity.
Now, if you're just realizing today is the first day of Stampede and don't have a plan to actually come down and attend, well, don't worry. The gates will open every morning. The park's open till about midnight. Same here this evening with Sneak a Peek. And that also means that the park will remain open for much of the next 10 days. Liquor service also available earlier at most pubs and restaurants throughout the city during this 10-day festivity. And if you're looking for transit ride options heading home in the evening, those will also have extended hours into the early morning. Tara?
Okay, good stuff, Tyson. Thank you. Now, here's a look at the Stampede parade route for tomorrow morning. The parade begins at 9th Avenue and 3rd Street Southeast. It goes to 10th Street Southwest, and then it loops back along 6th Avenue. If you can't make it to the parade in person, CTV Calgary has you covered. Don't worry. You can watch the parade live on TV and online starting at 8:55 a.m. Well, storms are not uncommon during Stampede, so let's check in with Danielle. We'll start with tonight. What's the forecast like for the grounds at Sneak a Peek?
Well, it actually at 5 o'clock was raining on Tyson at Stampede grounds, and we had some rain here just outside our studios. Still some non-severe thunderstorms pushing through parts of Calgary at the moment. We have the most likely potential of seeing isolated showers and thunderstorm activity up until about 7:30 p.m., and then we should start to clear out. And then by that point, just a small chance of seeing anything at all. So it gets more stable after 7:30 p.m. And then, parade morning. Well, it looks absolutely fantastic. Not too hot, not too cold. 11 degrees at 8 a.m. and mainly sunny skies right up until about 4 p.m. tomorrow. A high of 22 expected in the afternoon. More details coming up, Tara.
Thanks, Danielle. Two coal companies suing Alberta's government over its mining policy say they have reached settlement agreements. Jacqueline Wilson has the details.
Atrium Coal and Revolve Power say they've reached settlement agreements with the Alberta government. Atrium's is finalized, but in a letter last month, Evolve writes theirs is still in the works and are expecting it to be finalized in September. Neither have released financial details of the settlements. The companies are among 5 that are suing the government for a collective of $16 billion in sunk costs and lost revenue.
We still do not know how much these settlements or these agreements will cost Albertans. The $16 billion is what industry has asked for. That doesn't necessarily mean that's what has been agreed upon. So we are calling on the Premier to share the details of those agreements as soon as possible.
The other 3 companies suing the province are Valerie Resources, Cabin Ridge, and Northback Holdings. In May, Alberta's energy regulator granted Northback exploratory permits for its Grassy Mountain project. It's something the NDP don't want to see.
The Alberta NDP proposed the Eastern Slopes Protection Act years ago, which would have guaranteed and legislatively protected the Eastern Slopes and the headwaters from any new coal mines. That private member's bill is still sitting on the private member's bill docket in the legislature.
The province tells CTV it cannot comment on matters currently before the courts. However, Premier Smith spoke to CTV Wednesday at a town hall in Okotoks about the province's coal policy strategy.
We also have a number of leases that we're in the process of buying back, so that those leases are held in the hands of the Alberta government and not open for development. So I think that the original intention of the 1976 coal policy was to have a very limited number of areas where coal could be developed, and that's kind of what we're returning to.
And Jackie joins us from McDougall Centre tonight. Jackie, you were at that provincial town hall last night, and coal was the point of contention.
Yes, Tara, it sure was. So when I arrived, there were protesters outside of that venue in Okotoks. They were protesting open pit coal mines as well as the Grassy Mountain project. So they're worried about the environmental impacts as well as selenium in the water. And some of the protesters actually made their way inside of the town hall and ended up heckling the Premier as well as the Agriculture Minister whenever they would bring up coal policy or the environment. And I was able to talk to the Premier, as you saw there, outside of the town hall after it was finished, and we discussed coal policy, not the lawsuit. I do want to make that clear, but when we talked about coal policy, she says that she doesn't want to see open pit coal mines, but she does think we need to develop our resources sustainably, and having multiple types of resources being developed, that will allow us to remain independent from the United States more and more. Tara?
Okay, Jackie, thank you. Relief appears to be on the way for those looking to buy a condo in Calgary. Prices are dropping while inventory is adding up. As Tyler Barrow explains, though, it's a bit of a double-edged sword, depending on whether you're buying or selling.
A unit in this apartment complex is listed at just over $244,000. One realtor says that just 1 year ago, the 2-bedroom space could have fetched another $15,000, and it would have gone quickly.
We saw a lot of online visits. But we've only had 2 showings.
Tony Jones isn't the only seller who will have to be patient. Comparing year-over-year data for the month of June, this year's apartments are sitting on the market for 41 days. That nearly twice as long as the same time last year. And now, there's a massive supply with just over 2,100 units compared to 1,200 in June of 2024. And the benchmark price, year-over-year, has fallen by 3%. The Calgary Real Estate Board says there are a lot of sellers and a lot of new condos on the market.
We've had those record levels of starts over several consecutive years, As that project is completed, even if it's rental, it's just adding more supply choice. And when there's more supply choice, we tend to see the impact on apartment condos first.
Also, immigration in Canada has slowed and fewer people are now coming to Calgary. Current market conditions forcing realtors to have frank conversations with sellers. Last year, this unit in Edenwold Heights would have sold for $320,000. Offers aren't expected to be close to that figure.
I'm going in to meet with sellers who own apartment-style condos. I'm having some very honest conversations with them around value.
It's the break first-time home buyers have been waiting for.
Life is so hard, so to know that I have like a little bit of like a relief on like the financial side of it, it's good.
And Tyler joins us now. Tyler, which areas of the city are experiencing the most significant impacts?
Tara, almost everywhere. The price adjustments are being seen in the Calgary Real Estate Board's North, Northeast, and Southeast districts. And they expect the prices to continue declining as more inventory becomes available and that supply continues to grow. 14,000 units are currently under construction in the city, putting downward pressure on prices. Tara?
Okay, Tyler, thank you.
You're watching CTV News, Calgary.
Calgary's Children's Cottage Society is celebrating a milestone years in the making. The nonprofit has completed its $26 million capital campaign. And to mark the moment, a big surprise for some deserving kids. Here's Mark Villani.
With a burst of confetti and the shredding of a mortgage, the Children's Cottage Society made it official. They're now debt-free. The new 35,000 square foot child and family center in Calgary's Bowness neighborhood is fully funded, a major campaign that's been years in the making.
It cost $26.5 million to build. It was a lot of money to raise, and we're so excited to have achieved our goal.
Opening last April, the three-story facility now brings together all of the organization's services, including a crisis nursery, family resource center, and child development programs, all under one roof.
It was really about keeping up with the need in Calgary, making sure that families and children who are struggling had the resources and the programs they need to be strong, to be resilient, and for children to thrive.
And to mark the moment, a big delivery from a professional wrestling legend. Bret the Hitman Hart teamed up with Amazon to deliver boxes of toys, clothing, and school supplies for children in need. The donations were delivered within 24 hours after the society provided a list of urgent items. For some kids, it's a dream come true.
He's one of my heroes. He destroyed all, like, the wrestlers. He won so many champions belts.
Especially for families that are struggling and children that are going through tough times. It's, you know, the Children's Cottage Society does so much to help remedy that.
But beyond the celebration, a deeper purpose, to give kids a place to feel safe and loved during difficult times.
We want every family to know they don't have to struggle alone.
Mark Villani, CTV News, Calgary.
The Children's Cottage Society says its new building offers support to more than 3,300 children and families every year. For more information, you can visit our CTV Calgary website. Just yesterday, he was meeting with the Prime Minister. Today, GM Canada's boss is in Calgary. Coming up, his pitch to remove electric vehicle quotas. And police in BC reveal it was an RCMP vehicle that sparked the latest fire in Lytton. We're back in 1 minute. Operations are back to normal at airports across Canada tonight, including here in Calgary, after a series of bomb threats this morning. NAV Canada says it became aware of bomb threats early this morning at 6 airports: Calgary, Edmonton, Montreal, Vancouver, Ottawa, and Winnipeg. Sites were evacuated and flights were grounded for a while, but air traffic resumed later this morning. NAV Canada is not revealing the specific nature of the threats, but says it's working closely with local police agencies while the investigation continues. The head of General Motors Canada is in Calgary, sharing the company's plans to rev up its presence in our country. It comes on the heels of a meeting with Prime Minister Mark Carney about the ongoing trade war with the United States, which is driving up both uncertainty and sales at Alberta dealerships. Terry Fikowski explains.
There's no shortage of horsepower in Calgary this week, but some of it you'll find under the hood. The president of General Motors Canada is in the city for the company's partnership with the Calgary Stampede. As part of a panel discussing the future of mobility in Canada, Christian Aquilina spoke of the uncertainty amid a Canada-U.S. trade war.
The uncertainty also brings opportunity. We have to remain agile and ready to respond to whatever eventuates here.
This week, GM's president and other auto industry executives met with the Prime Minister. They focused on ways to protect Canadian supply chains. U.S. President Donald Trump imposed 25% tariffs on vehicles manufactured in Canada with a carve-out for components built in the States.
We'll see how that plans out, but at this stage, we're focused on delivering for what we know today.
The uncertainty is creating anxiety for buyers, and that's driving up sales at dealerships.
I think nationally, I believe the numbers were up about 6%, but here in the province of Alberta, we're up almost 13%. So it's been strong. I would suggest that our members are cautiously optimistic.
Car prices are also on the rise.
Our inventory levels have not been this low since the COVID days. So the demand is definitely going up because of a lot of anxiety that's around the tariffs. But at the same time, the supply chain is greatly impacted and diminished. So it's burning the candle at both ends.
To help make the sector more sustainable amid the turmoil, industry leaders are urging Ottawa to repeal its zero-emissions vehicle mandate. By next year, 20% of new passenger vehicles sold in Canada are to be either battery-powered or hybrid.
So we have some short-term headwinds that might make it easier in the industry to relax some of the regulations, but longer term, we should be looking at staying on this path of actually improving the environment we live in.
Ottawa hasn't revealed plans for the rebates or trade talks, but there's cautious optimism with Canada and the U.S. back at the bargaining table. Terry Fikowski, CTV News, Calgary.
Carney says he wants a new Canada-U.S. trade deal in place by July 21st and will boost Canadian trade countermeasures against the states if that deadline is not met. Ottawa is spending more than $13 million in a number of projects to reduce greenhouse gas emissions in Alberta and the Northwest Territories. Two of the projects are in southern Alberta. $3.4 million will go toward Taurus Canada Renewable Gas to build a carbon capture site at a feedlot owned by the Casco Cattle Company near Coaldale. It will turn manure into biogas. And Cavendish Farms will receive $1.7 million in federal funding to add a heat recovery system at its potato processing plant in Lethbridge. Nissan is recalling nearly 38,000 vehicles in Canada. The models include 2021 to 24 Nissan Rogue, 2019 and 2020 Nissan Altima, the 2019 to 2022 Infiniti QX50 and 2022 Infiniti QX55. The automaker says the recall is due to a potential bearing manufacturing defect that could lead to engine damage or failure. In the U.S., over 440,000 vehicles are recalled. Evacuation orders are once again being issued for Lytton, BC. There is confirmation today that this fire near the community was accidentally sparked by an RCMP vehicle. Mounties were towing a boat when the trailer's wheel fell off, sparking a fire in the grass. A Mountie can be seen there trying to put the fire out. The Eisman Creek wildfire has grown to about 130 hectares north of Lytton, prompting evacuation alerts and shutting down a highway. A suspected tornado hit central Alberta yesterday. People who live near Drayton Valley and Lodgepole took these photos around 5 p.m. You can see large funnel clouds, and there was also damaging hail and strong wind. Investigators are looking into the storm, and if it's a confirmed tornado, it will be the fourth in Alberta this year. We've got a severe thunderstorm watch in some areas around us tonight, too, Danielle.
And no risk of tornadoes to talk about at this point. Hang on a second, my mic. I need to... In this watch, can you hear me now? I think that's better. Okay, here we are. All right, yes. Severe thunderstorm watch in place. Calgary is included in this. However, the more active weather has already pushed out of Calgary and tracking off and closer to the Strathmore area. I'll show you that on the radar in just a second. But this is where there is the watch in place for these next couple of hours because there is potential. And also the heat warning still residing because areas closer to the east and especially the southeast corner had an extra day of heat. But things are regulating in all of southern Alberta. Alberta, and this heat warning should be dropped tonight because it will be even cooler there tomorrow as well. Now, before we get into the radar, quickly talking temperatures, 32 in Medicine Hat right now. Again, this is where we have that heat, which is why the heat warning is still in place here, but it will be much cooler for tomorrow, and definitely you will notice a difference. 17 in Calgary. We did get to 21 today, but as these little storm cells push through, it quickly dropped our temperature. We'll likely rise in temperature over these next couple of hours before things start to cool again for the evening. Okay, here's a look at the activity we've seen. So these cells didn't intensify until they were pretty much out of Calgary, but we did have some non-severe thunderstorms in the city. I want to zoom in here and pop out the lightning so you could see this better. But yes, we had some lightning in the city, some decent downpours, short-lived, but that activity and what may be producing some hail at this point is the cell that's tracking just to the south of Strathmore and the one that's tracking just to the north of Okotoks. So these are predominantly moving off to the east now. So if you are in the areas just south of Strathmore and off to the east of Okotoks, heads up, because some of these cells, yes, are producing a little bit of hail at this point. Okay, up until about 7:30, 8 o'clock is where we have the potential for seeing any sort of isolated showers or thunderstorm activity. After that, we are basically looking at mainly sunny skies. So parade day, oh, perfect weather. Not too hot, not too cold, 11 degrees at 8 a.m. and mainly sunny skies. You'll notice the clouds increasing closer to 4 in the afternoon in the city. And the rainfall will probably push as far north as Okotoks. And later in the day, closer to the supper hours in Calgary, we could see some activity on Saturday. So 21 degrees for tomorrow, just increasing cloud later in the day. And for Saturday and Sunday later in the day, we have the potential for some thunderstorm activity. And as you can see, temperatures much cooler. We won't get back into the 30s until Tuesday of next week. That's your Action Furnace 5-day forecast, Tara.
Thank you, Danielle. A Ukrainian man set out on a quest today from downtown Calgary. He's walking from our city all the way to Banff to raise money for hospitals in Ukraine. It's a big walk, and it's even more challenging for him because he was born with cerebral palsy. But he has a big fundraising goal in mind. Kevin Fleming reports.
This is the sound Alexander Kianitsa makes when he walks. Every step is an effort, but his mind is set on getting to Banff in about 20 days.
It would be very challenging, but I am very happy to do it because this was my very big dream to go through the Rockies.
Kianitsa was born with cerebral palsy and has lived in Montreal for the last 10 years. He was determined to find a way to help people where he was raised.
This is what he told us. I'm falling down, but I stand up and I keep walking because he has such a great heart for Ukraine. And this is the example of Ukrainian who don't want to give up no matter what happened, no matter what kind of obstacles he has.
Before Kianitsa set out on his journey, the local Ukrainian community hosted a rally at Municipal Plaza to show their support for the walk. Mayor Jody Gondak even signed a pair of new shoes for him.
He will change 5 or 6 pairs of shoes because he's dragging his foot and then the shoes get damaged and tears. So we bought him a couple shoes and then he's gonna change them all the time because this is how difficult it is for him.
Stefania Romanuk grew up in Canada and says events like this help remind Calgarians that there is still a war going on in Ukraine and people living there need help.
You know, he lives with cerebral palsy, but his laughter, his smile, his passion, his energy is so infectious. So basically, when we heard about this project, we wanted to support it in any way we could.
Kianitsa is hoping to raise $20,000 on his walk. Kevin Fleming, CTV News, Calgary.
This is the third big walk for Kianitsa. In 2023, he walked from Montreal to Ottawa and then from Toronto to Niagara Falls, where he raised $32,000. We've posted more information about the walk and how you can donate if you like on our website. A Canadian has completed one of the ultimate swimming challenges in the world. Erin Bowers swam across the English Channel from near Dover to Wissant on the French coast. It took her 16 hours and about 33 minutes. She'd planned doing it back in September for her 50th birthday, but she had to call it off due to poor conditions. She completed it on June 30th with the help of her support team and the wise words of her dad, who passed away a few years ago, ringing in her ears.
He had two sayings that he used to say to me all the time, and everyone will probably have heard these before. And the first one was, keep plugging. So you just keep going, keep plugging. And then the second one is, you got to be tough. So that was the main one that I sort of repeat over in my head. You got to be tough. So I tried to be as tough as I could.
She was. The water was a chilly 16 degrees Celsius. She was stung by jellyfish multiple times on her face and her arms. Bowers raised about $10,000 for the charity Jumpstart. It helps kids from financially challenged homes access sports. Still to come, doing the Stampede sober, where a growing number of people are saying no to alcohol, and not just during this 10-day party. And saving a piece of Calgary's past, the move to get more people to save historic buildings from the bulldozer. The Calgary Stampede is getting underway, and many of the events over the next 10 days could be described as a real party. But many are choosing to enjoy it sober. Stephanie Thomas has more from local businesses and entrepreneurs cashing in on this rising trend to leave booze behind.
I don't need drinks during Stampede.
Lana Rogers prefers non-alcoholic beverages now. She stopped drinking a year and a half ago. A 180-degree turn from her Champagne Friday brand, an online social club dedicated to fizzy drinks.
There are just like so many other areas of opportunity to have other types of fun where you don't actually have to have a drink in your hand.
She'll be having a sober Stampede, and she's part of a growing market in the non-alcoholic category. Village Brewery expanded to craft non-alcoholic about 6 years ago.
It's grown every year since we've launched. It's been our fastest growing product line by far. So yeah, that kind of tells where the consumer's at.
At Annex Ales, sodas make up 1/3 of their sales by volume.
Consumers are coming in and they're demanding zero alcohol options, whether that's beer, wine, or things like our soda.
But it's not about going completely dry. A 2024 report found that 75% of non-alcoholic beverage drinkers also purchase alcohol. Data collected from IWSR, which focuses on alcohol beverage trends, says moderation is a trend that's taking off.
Everyone is drinking less. It's not a Gen Z specific phenomenon. Older consumers are also drinking less, and again, lots of reasons for that.
Like an increased focus on health and wellness and the rising cost of living.
Howdy, Calgary.
One performer wants Calgary families to saddle up sober.
We've created a safe space for people to party at the Stampede with zero alcohol, and it's in the middle of the day.
He's hosting an all-ages event at Ranchman's.
My message is sober fun, and mental health is cool.
So people can partake without the risk of a hangover. Stephanie Thomas, CTV News, Calgary.
Well, here's something else you might want to cut back on this Stampede. Processed meat. U.S. and U.K. researchers analyzed data from more than 60 previous studies on the relationship between diet and the risk of common major diseases. Looking at processed meat, they found people who ate as little as one hot dog a day had noticeable increases in their risk of type 2 diabetes and colorectal cancer compared to those who didn't eat any. The authors say their findings show there is no safe amount of processed meat to eat. The study was published in Nature Medicine and also outlined elevated risks from sugar-sweetened beverages and trans fatty acids. We're learning more about new Health Canada regulations meant to help you make healthier choices when you're at the grocery store.
We know it's highlighting sodium, sugars, and saturated fat, which is really important for the consumer to know because it increases our risk of chronic disease.
Labels are starting to appear on the front of packages instead of the back. This applies to products with more than 15% of the recommended daily intake of sodium, sugar, or saturated fat. The potential health risks of eating those things frequently include stroke, obesity, and heart disease. Food makers have until January 1st of 2026 to fully implement the labeling system. There was an increased police presence in the mountain parks over the Canada Day weekend, including this uniformed officer who was keeping everyone in line at Lake Louise. Our trending videos are next. A University of Calgary team is hitting the road to look at creating pleasure using a unique method. The project, called Surveillant Pleasures, is looking for people to create an art piece using surveillance technology like drones, cameras, and spy tech. And it's inspired by the concept of pleasure. They're going to 5 locations in 4 provinces in an RV, and they're hoping to inspire some discussion.
What would it be like if we could radically reorient our world around things like pleasure and care and joy, rather than, say, profit, surveillance, that kind of thing?
After today's workshop in Calgary, the RV is heading to Regina, Kingston, and Ottawa to complete the project. Okay, you guys, have you ever wondered what's inside our planets? Thanks to AI, we don't have to wonder anymore. Okay. Ooh. Yeah, from Earth's molten iron heart to a gaseous gooey Venus to a red and dusty Mars. This all comes from someone's incredible imagination.
That's very cool.
I know. The company's called Cinefe.
Wow.
And they just create these stunning AI-powered videos. Like, no one is suggesting this is scientifically accurate, but it's really kind of mesmerizing to watch.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
And who's to say it's not?
How do we know? Huh? How do we know? Well, somebody probably knows, but anyway. Thousands of people flock to Lake Louise for Canada Day, and it's usually the lake itself that people want to take a photo of.
Okay, can you sit down again? Oh, nice. Look at that face. However, this year, visitors got a look at Waffles, the Yorkie, dressed up in his Mountie outfit, and then the focus just shifted entirely. His owner says she was there taking his photo, and then once he was spotted by the crowds, they started swarming, and they were telling her to get out of the way so that they could take a shot of the dog.
I hope they were charging. They would have made a lot of money.
Look at that. But so the most famous RCMP
is Waffles, the Yorkie.
Waffles.
Waffles the dog.
Well, we know mama bears are protective. This footage shows they're also really fast. And I guess if you're one of these babies, you better hold on tight because mama's not stopping. So wildlife photographer Mark Boldukian caught this amazing video of this mama brown bear carrying her 3 cubs on her back in Alaska.
Those little cubs are strong.
Hanging
on to that?
Mean, they are gripped on.
Yes, right?
I guess you need to be.
3 of them.
She's taken off.
A lot of work.
Still to come, Canada's exports to the U.S. are down again this month, but we are selling more goods to other countries in the wake of Donald Trump's trade war. We'll get the details in our business report.
All right, your Skywatch weather camera bouncing around a little bit. So we had a couple cells, non-severe, swipe through Calgary. We got the lightning, we got big downpours in some communities, and it dropped our temperatures fast. We were at 21 and we quickly dropped down to 17. We'll likely rebound back up to 19, even 20 over these next hour or two. And then we'll start after that to decline in temperature for the night. We also have the potential of shower thunderstorm activity up until about 7:30, 8 o'clock in Calgary. Calgary, yes, under a severe thunderstorm watch. However, that's not where we have the active weather. It's closer to the Strathmore area where there is a severe thunderstorm warning in place. So here's basically when the cells went through Calgary, we were non-severe. But as they pushed outside of Calgary, they started to intensify. This is the one with all the intensity is south of Strathmore, and it's tracking off to the east. I'm going to pop out the lightning so you can see here. And yes, there is likely some large size hail with this. That's what the radar signature is suggesting. Large over Toonie size hail is certainly possible with part of this cell. Again, it's tracking off to the east. You may see some of this in Hussar. You may see some of this in Bassano, but it might not be as intense by the time it gets there. But if you are just to the south of Strathmore, Nemaca Lake, and off to the east of Nemaca Lake, you are looking at the potential of getting some larger size hail, very strong wind gusts, and lots of lightning with that as well. All right, your 24-hour forecast brought to you by Action Furnace. Fixed right or it's free. And again, for us in Calgary, we really just have non-severe or showers possible up until about 8 o'clock tonight, and then tomorrow for parade day, 11 o'clock at 8 a.m., lots of sunshine, and just some clouds increasing by 4 p.m. Tara?
That's what people want to hear. Thanks, Danielle. The doors have swung open on the Calgary Stampede. Stampede Park is now open. The rides are rolling. It's the unofficial start to the greatest outdoor show on earth, an event that brings in more than $200 million annually, the majority of it staying in Calgary. 2 coal companies suing the Alberta government over its mining policy flip-flops say they have reached reached a settlement agreement with the province. Evolve and Atrum are among 5 coal companies suing Alberta for a collective $16 billion. No dollar figures for a settlement have been released. And good news if you're looking to buy a condo, prices are starting to drop. That's according to the Calgary Real Estate Board. Year-over-year condo apartment prices fell by 3% in June. Inventory is up 73%. As the city grows and builds more much-needed homes, some are making sure Calgary's important history isn't being knocked down. A Calgary designer who designated his home as a heritage resource says the process was worth every minute he spent doing it, and he's hoping other homeowners consider applying to the program too. Tim Brooke explains.
Matthew Kennedy's 1913 Parkdale home came with some extra documentation.
Okay, so this is the photo album the previous owners left me.
The family who used to live here really cared about these walls, and so when they left, they wanted them preserved.
You know, I think we got like a good deal on the house, and part of that deal was that we would designate the house as a heritage resource.
And Kennedy has redesigned and remodeled everything from the floorboards to the counters to the bathrooms.
These heritage homes are kind of this record of Calgary's culture. The fact that they're getting torn down so quickly, it makes these houses even more important.
Now he's asking Calgarians who live in pre-1945 builds to look into getting a designation. Heritage Calgary runs the municipal program and says applications have been picking up, but still, only about a quarter of the 4,000 potential heritage asset homes have been officially listed.
I think a lot of property owners feel that designation is very restrictive as to what they can do, and that's one of the barriers for designation.
Homes that are designated are eligible for preservation, property tax breaks, and other special grant funding. And the benefits aren't just material.
People living in thriving and connected neighborhoods is really important for people's health, for people's socioeconomic well-being, just for people's general vibrancy.
Both outside and in.
When I see like a block of like the modern same home, it makes you a little bit sad. I don't know. I feel like you have to have heritage in the city.
Of course we need high density, we need affordable housing, mixed residential, but heritage homes are invaluable to neighborhoods like this.
Tim Brooke, CTV News, Calgary.
The heritage designation process is done through self-nomination. To learn more about how to designate your home and about some of the perks, you can visit ctvnews.ca/Calgary. A conservation group is working to conserve an historic ranch in Alberta's cowboy country. The Nature Conservancy of Canada and the Waldred Grazing Cooperative have partnered to conserve the Bob Creek Ranch along Highway 22 west of Claresholm. The 1,000-hectare property will create a contiguous block of more than 43,000 hectares of conserved and protected land within the headwaters of the South Saskatchewan River watershed. The land will be a permanent space for game species like elk, moose, deer, and grizzly bears to move through. Canada's trade exports were up by 1% in May. BNN Bloomberg's Marilla Fernandez has more on that and your other business headlines.
Canadian exports are up overall, but exports to the U.S. are down. In May, those exports were down just under 1%. Canada also exported more to other countries, sending raw gold to the UK, crude oil to Singapore, and raw aluminum to Italy. Ottawa wants to diversify trade away from the U.S. after Washington announced tariffs early this year. The major North American markets had record closes again today, but let's start with the Canadian dollar. It's up, hitting 73.64. West Texas Intermediate is down to 67.16. Our fix on Western Canadian Select has it up over $2 to 55.53. And the TSX shot up another 164 points today for the first time, ending the day above 27,000. Those are your business headlines. I'm Marilla Fernandez.
Two Calgary artists have created an award-winning piece of public art in Edmonton. Play It By Ear is a series of interactive sound sculptures inviting people to unite through talking. 13 brightly colored telephone pillars are connected by looping landlines. If one phone is picked up, a matching one will ring elsewhere in the park for someone to answer. It was created by Calgary artists Caitlin R.C. Brown and Wayne Garrett.
Public art pieces are here to help create vibrancy and give the city a little bit more personality and color. And that's one of the things that I would always encourage people to think about when they're seeing and interacting with our public art pieces.
Play It By Ear is one of the 100 worldwide art displays nominated for a CODA award. The winner will be selected in August. The newest members of the Calgary Flames are going through the paces. Summer development camp is underway, and Glenn takes a look at some of Calgary's top prospects next. Flames fans got a glimpse into the future this week at Winsport. Glenn is back with us, and Glenn, it's summer development camp time.
Tara, an exciting time for these players to put on the Flames gear, and also an exciting time for fans as they get to see all of the top prospects. 24 players hit the ice for this year's development camp. It's smaller than previous years because the Flames want to give the players more one-on-one instruction. Cole Reshney was selected 18th overall at this year's NHL draft. He's going to play in the NCAA with North Dakota this season, and he's willing to put in the work to realize his dream.
Getting drafted was a goal of mine my whole life, and now the work only gets harder from here on out. It's my goal to make the NHL team and make it as fast as possible and be an impact player when I do make it. So there's a lot of work going into everything, the off-ice side of things, nutrition, in the gym, the mental side of it, and then on the ice, obviously, the physical side of things.
Fans also got a chance to see the other first-round pick from this year, the speedy Cullen Potter. He comes from an athletic family. His dad played in the NCAA, and his mom, Jenny, played for the U.S. national women's team. She's an Olympic gold medalist and a 4-time world champ, and had a big influence on Cullen.
Always being there to support me. I think that's the biggest influence she'd had on me. You know, she's my mom, and she's, you know, my hockey coach at the same time. So, you know, having someone there to support me through everything in life and in hockey is something special, so I mean, super thankful for her.
Zane Parekh, the Flames' first-round pick from last year, is back for another development camp. There's no doubt about his talent on the ice, but the young defenseman has also been working on himself off the ice, a sure sign of maturity.
You know, off the ice, kind of reinventing myself as a person, and you know, trying to just, you know, be a guy I want to have dinner with. So, you know, working on myself off the ice, I think, is really important, and something I'm taking really serious because I mean, I had a tough month.
And development camp wrapped up over at Winsport today. One final note in sports: kickoff for the inaugural Stampede Bowl goes at McMahon Stadium in just a few minutes' time. The Stamps up against the Bombers.
We better give last word to Danielle then about the weather.
Yeah, so much happening. For the evening, up until about 8 o'clock, we have the potential for showers and thunderstorms in Calgary. But the worst of it, it looks like, has moved on out and off to the east now and closer to, well, just south of the Strathmore area, where it is producing some very large hail. Okay, tomorrow, parade day, very important day. All sunshine up until 4 in the afternoon when the clouds will increase. And then late day Saturday by 4 p.m. we have the chance of some showers and thunderstorms. And look at those more reasonable temperatures. Even Sunday, cool at 19. However, when you look at that longer range forecast, we will be back in the 30s. That arrives again by Tuesday. So for Tuesday and Wednesday, she will be hot. Okay, weather window brought to you by Lux Windows and Doors, crafting quality windows and doors for your style, budget, and Alberta's climate. And this one was sent in by Matt Melnick near Drayton Valley. We were talking about this on the show yesterday as the tornado warnings were popping up. This is what happened.
Yikes. Well, he was in the right spot at the right time, that's for sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
Wow.
Cool.
Thanks for your company tonight. Have a terrific evening. We'll see you tomorrow.